For years, Japan looked like the loser of the automotive transition, while Tesla became the world's most valuable automaker and Chinese companies like BYD rapidly expanded electric vehicle production. Japanese manufacturers continued investing heavily in hydrogen technologies. To many observers, that decision looked like a mistake. Hydrogen vehicles remained expensive. Battery EV sales kept growing. And critics argued that Japan was backing the wrong technology. But a recent development in Singapore raises an interesting question. What if Japan's hydrogen strategy was never primarily about passenger cars? What if it was aimed at a much larger part of the global economy? Because while most of the world focuses on electric vehicles, Japan appears to be investing in something else entirely: the future infrastructure of energy and transportation. Where batteries excel and where questions remain. There is no denying what battery electric vehicles have achieved. For passenger cars, batteries have become increasingly practical, efficient, and affordable. In many markets, they are already the leading technology for new vehicle sales, but modern economies rely on far more than passenger cars. Container ships move around 90% of global trade. Heavy trucks transport goods across continents. Steel mills, chemical plants, and industrial facilities consume enormous amounts of energy every day, and these sectors operate under very different constraints. For a family car, adding a larger battery may not be a major issue. For a cargo ship crossing an ocean, every additional ton matters. The more energy storage you carry, the less cargo you can transport. This doesn't mean batteries cannot play a role in heavy transport. Many companies are actively pursuing exactly that. But it does explain why governments, shipping companies, and industrial firms continue exploring alternative solutions. And that search brings us back to hydrogen. More importantly, it reveals something often missing from the public debate. Japan's argument is not necessarily that batteries will fail. It is that one technology may not be able to efficiently power every part of a modern economy. Why Japan still believes in hydrogen. Hydrogen has one characteristic that continues to attract attention from policymakers and engineers. It contains a large amount of energy relative to its weight. That makes it particularly interesting for industries where weight and range are critical, but Japan's interest goes beyond transportation. As an island nation with limited natural resources, Japan imports most of the energy it consumes. For decades, energy security has been one of the country's biggest strategic concerns. From Japan's perspective, hydrogen could eventually become something more than a fuel. It could become a way to transport energy itself. Countries with abundant solar, wind, or natural gas resources could produce hydrogen or ammonia and export it to energy-importing nations such as Japan. Whether that vision becomes reality remains uncertain, but it helps explain why Japan sees hydrogen as a strategic opportunity rather than simply another type of vehicle technology, and Japan is not alone. The European Union has committed billions of dollars to hydrogen-related projects. Germany is investing in future hydrogen imports. Australia hopes to become a major hydrogen exporter. Saudi Arabia is building large-scale hydrogen production facilities. The debate today is not whether hydrogen has potential value. The debate is where that value will ultimately emerge. If hydrogen has a weakness, it is logistics. Hydrogen is difficult to store, difficult to transport, and expensive to move across long distances. For years, these challenges limited its adoption. Japan's answer increasingly revolves around ammonia. Ammonia is created by combining hydrogen with nitrogen. Instead of shipping pure hydrogen around the world, companies can transport ammonia and either use it directly as fuel or convert it back into hydrogen when needed. Think of ammonia as a transport vehicle for hydrogen, not perfect, but potentially much easier to move through global supply chains. This matters because infrastructure often determines which technologies succeed. History is full of examples where the winning technology was not necessarily the most elegant one. It was the one that could be deployed at scale, and that is where Singapore enters the story. Singapore is one of the world's most important maritime hubs. A significant portion of global shipping traffic passes through its ports every year. That makes it an ideal location to test potential future fuels. Recently, Japanese trading giant Itochu received approval to conduct ammonia bunkering trials there. On the surface, it sounds like a routine industrial project, but infrastructure projects often become important long before the market fully develops. Nobody knows whether ammonia will become a major shipping fuel. There are competing technologies. Methanol is gaining support. Battery solutions continue improving. Some companies are exploring synthetic fuels. The race is still wide open. But if ammonia eventually captures even a meaningful share of global shipping, the companies and countries building infrastructure today could hold valuable positions in that future market. And that may be the key to understanding Japan's strategy. Japan does not necessarily need hydrogen to dominate the world. It may only need hydrogen to become important enough to matter. Critics often describe Japan's hydrogen strategy as a gamble, and to some extent it is. Hydrogen infrastructure is expensive. Many projects may never achieve commercial success, and battery technology continues advancing faster than many analysts expected. But there is another way to view Japan's approach. Instead of betting against batteries, Japan may be hedging against a future where batteries are not the only answer. If batteries dominate passenger vehicles, Japan can still participate. Its automakers are investing in EVs as well. But if hydrogen finds a role in shipping, heavy industry, fertilizer production, steelmaking, or long-duration energy storage, Japan wants to be prepared for that future too. From that perspective, hydrogen is less of an all-or-nothing wager. It is an attempt to secure a position in multiple possible futures, and for a country that imports most of its energy and lacks major natural resources, that logic may be easier to understand. The common narrative says Japan missed the EV revolution. But that may not be the complete story. Perhaps Japan was never trying to win the exact same race as Tesla or BYD. Perhaps it was preparing for a different challenge altogether, not just how to power cars, but how to power industries, ships, supply chains, and entire energy systems. Whether that strategy succeeds remains uncertain, but after decades of investment, Japan clearly believes hydrogen still deserves a seat at the table. The question is whether the rest of the world eventually agrees. What do you think? Will batteries dominate nearly every part of the energy transition? Or will hydrogen and ammonia carve out important roles of their own? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.